Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 28 with Amanda James. Hello.
Hello.
So, today we're going to continue with watching the footage from the Sarah Boone investigation. And last week, we started all the way back at the beginning. So, this started on February 23rd, 2020, when George died. And then on the 24th, we listened to the 911 call, we watched the body cam, and then listened to her interview as well that happened later on that day. And so today is going to be from the 25th of February, and they've already completed the autopsy. So they have some questions. They definitely have some questions after what came back from that. So this is all happening so quickly, it feels. I would have to say, I don't know the timestamps or anything like that, but I would say it's probably within 24 hours of them receiving the call.
Okay, so this is the next day, right?
Yes, this is the next
okay.
day. Yep, exactly. So yeah, it's happening so fast.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get started on her interrogation and see what she has to say for herself.
Alrighty.
I'm going to have you sit in the green chair that doesn't move.
Oh, by the way, we have a side character, and it's the cough.
Yeah, I call her Coughicer, the Coughicer.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, so that character will be present through this entire thing and also in other interviews that we see. So just get used to it.
Appreciate you coming in.
Yes, ma'am. I want to ask you about these whenever we have a moment.
Sure. So obviously, he received his autopsy. So I'm going to read you your rights again because we have to talk about that. And since I'm talking about the incident, we just have to do it, just like we did yesterday.
Protocol?
Just like we did yesterday. Remember I read you the rights?
Yeah.
Your rights? Yeah. So it's the exact same thing, but since I'm asking you follow-up questions, I need to read them to you, okay?
Sure.
This is just protocol, nothing to worry about.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. If a cop ever wants to read you your rights, don't believe them when they say it's just protocol. Ask for a lawyer. Don't talk to them.
Right, exactly. Now, this is going to be the third time that she's being read these rights.
Okay.
So, and still, she's just like, this is just normal. You do this with everybody, right? Yes, with everybody who's a suspect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, so you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say may be used against you in court. You have the right to talk to a lawyer before and during questioning without charge. If you cannot afford a lawyer and want one can be provided for you before questioning without charge. Has anyone threatened you or promised you anything to get you to talk to me?
No.
And do you understand what I just read you?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. So this morning we went to his autopsy, and we were informed of some injuries that he has by the doctor. So so he's got scratch marks to his back.
I know what that's from.
Okay. And it's called a contusion. Do you know what a contusion is? So like basically you're getting hit and then you get a mark from it. You'll get bruising. Like someone hit you or something like that. It's called a contusion. So he had some injuries to his left shoulder.
That's also a little bit of an accusation, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. Of course. Yeah. How did these injuries occur? You two were the only ones there. He's got contusions. That's what happens when somebody hits you.
Right. It's not just if you fall down or, you bump your arm or something. It's because somebody hits you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He had a cut near his lip. We could see his mouth was a little
I haven't laid a
swollen.
hand on him.
Okay.
Also, too, he fell off my son's bike.
Okay.
So I don't know. And he's notorious for running into the wall or the
Okay.
hall tree. So
Okay. Okay.
I don't-
What about the scratches?
That always
Okay.
makes me laugh. He's notorious for running into walls. Oh, that's just George. He's always running into walls.
Right. And so he fell off of your son's bike, allegedly,
Hmm.
right? And you're just, you don't know what happened to him, though, right? You don't know what injuries he may have sustained
Hmm.
at that time. You're just like, well, whatever you're seeing, that could be from him falling. But, he's not saying, well, I know that he had a scrape, or I know that he hurt his arm or something when he did that. Like, it's
Hmm.
just, I know that he fell off my son's bike. Okay. And also, he runs straight into the wall. It's just like the Kool-Aid man.
He's notorious for it.
No, everybody knows he does it.
Everybody knows that, right? You hear a big bang. Oh, it's just George running into the wall again. That guy's always
Exactly.
running into walls.
I know. And that is also such a classic line, isn't it? From an abuser.
Yes, it definitely is.
Right.
Hmm.
And from all different types too. So you can have somebody who's beating their partner and say, oh, he or she, runs into the cabinets and they did, they did something stupid. They walked into the wall and they have a black eye, or they say that a lot with kids. And especially boys, boys, they're always falling down,
Hmm.
But yet you can look at a child and know, like, that's not falling down. They're not going to be covered in bruises. They're not going to have, broken bones, that have healed. And now we can still see that they were injured at some point, because they fall down sometimes. And they're just, kids being kids. So yeah, that is definitely such a classic one. And it's odd that she's saying that.
It is very odd that she's saying that he's notorious for running into walls, and that is going to explain his injuries away.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be interesting if they took that and asked people that he knew, like his family? Like, did George run into walls a lot? And they'd be like, what? What do you mean? Of course not.
Because there's also sex.
Yes.
Okay. Because there's also like a scratch on like the back of his neck, like kind of like going, but it's like going straight across.
I have no idea what that's from.
And they're all recent. Like they occurred recently. It wasn't something that occurred post or that occurred a week ago or 2 days ago, 3 days ago. They definitely occurred, the night leading up to when he was.
In all honesty, we have not gotten into it.
Okay.
That's why, like, the only thing I thought you guys were going to ask me about, which I was going to be honest with you anyway, are the scratch marks on his back.
Mhm.
Everything else, I have no idea what it is. No idea what it is. Nonetheless, I've had my son over the house too, so.
Well, your son was there when?
Okay, so that's another source of injury, right? The son
The
is
scratches.
gonna. Yeah, well, the son is going to bruise him, of course. They wrestle around all the time, I'm sure.
Oh, you think that's what she was saying? I thought she meant like, well, we haven't been fighting because my son's been at my house.
Oh, that's a good point. I was just thinking that it was just another excuse, like riding the bike. My son was over. Maybe,
Yeah.
But you're right.
It's possible.
You're right. I think that's probably what she was talking about at this point. And I missed it. So therefore, I'm not a detective.
We are not detectives, no.
We are not.
I wanted to ask though, she was very quick to take the blame for the scratches on his back. She's like, I know what those are from. Those are from sex.
Mhm.
Weird. That's such a movie thing. I mean, I'm sure some people do that, I guess, but I don't know. That's just weird. You're gonna gouge somebody's back up when you're having sex?
Maybe.
Well, I wonder if they were really from that or if it was from fighting. And she just
Sure.
used that sort of stereotypical, like, movie
Right. They're so
line.
passionate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. They're so hammered. They're just, like, rolling around in the bed. They don't even know what the fuck they're doing. Just
No.
body parts flopping around.
And then they
You
fall
can't
asleep.
sex when you're that drunk. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, she was very quick too, and she was prepared for that as well
Yeah.
because she knew that they were there. I thought that you guys would be asking me about those, and of course, if they're having sex, then it would seem like they're kind of getting along, right?
Yeah, maybe that's why, because she brings up sex another time too. I can't remember if it's in the interrogation or in the chat in the detective's car, but she said like, "Oh, I went upstairs. I zipped him in the suitcase. Then I went upstairs to wait for him to come up so we could have sexual relations like we always do." Why
Yes.
are you volunteering that information? How is that relevant at all? Like, it didn't happen. So why are you mentioning it? And the only reason I could think is to try to make their relationship look better than it was.
Yes.
Like, no, we weren't fighting. I wasn't trying to kill him. I was waiting for him to come upstairs and make love to me.
No, you're absolutely right because I think that's the reason why she brings up all the other things too. We were doing puzzles, we were doing art, and then we were sitting outside too, and we were having a cigarette and a drink, and we made dinner. You know, and we were having a great night. When I tell you, we were having a great night, we were having a great night. You know, that is definitely the image that she's trying to portray. That there was nothing crazy going on here at all.
No malicious.
No, right, no malicious, exactly.
When was he last there?
Oh, gosh.
From my understanding, he was there like last Tuesday.
I don't know if it was Tuesday, but yes, he was there last week, so.
Well, we're talking about Sunday.
Yeah.
We're just talking about what occurred Sunday. Because like I said, the injuries they occurred within that time period.
So you're talking about day before yesterday?
Sunday leading into Monday. You called us yesterday at 1, but the incident, you guys were painting and stuff the night prior.
Correct.
So we're talking about Sunday and then into Monday.
I'm thoroughly confused because we had a good time sitting on the back porch having wine and smoking a couple of cigarettes and then decided to go inside and literally paint, do puzzles, and play and listen to music. That's why nobody got out of sorts. This is what's mind-blowing to me. Like, I have no clue. Nobody laid a hand on anybody.
He also had, like on the left side of his forehead, he had basically bruising, and on like his head and his skull.
I have no idea.
As if something hit him.
I
considered
have not
force
touched him.
trauma.
I have not touched him. I have not touched him.
Then how would you get those injuries?
Tell me and we'll both know. I have not touched him.
Yesterday, when we took photographs of your overall body, and they did the buccal swabs, did they go under your fingernails?
No.
Okay. Are you willing to let us
Absolutely.
swab underneath your fingernails?
Go for it.
Okay.
I have no idea, and I don't want to seem out of sorts, but I have no idea. We had a good day. It was a good day. We've had good days lately, even considering everything that's going on with our jobs and life in general and ex-wives and everything.
You don't have jobs.
Good.
No, you haven't had a job in years.
Ex-wives. How many ex-wives are there? There's just one.
Yes, I believe there's only one. Yeah, but she's
There's
so
one-
evil that it feels like there's many more.
Yeah, she's evil because she wants George to give her some money to help take care of their 3 children.
Yes.
One of whom is disabled, by the way.
Right.
What a bitch.
Right. I know.
I mean, she might be a bitch. Who knows? But she's not a bitch for wanting the father of her children to help support them.
No, absolutely not. But of course, she's going to paint it as this woman is evil. And she's amazing. She's an amazing, supportive girlfriend. Yeah.
Like, I don't even know where this is coming from.
Yeah,
I
you
don't
said
even
the
know.
last physical was probably, you said, I think, what, a month ago? Where you got the injury? right? You said that was a
I'll
month
say
ago?
a few weeks, give or take, yeah.
A few weeks. That was the last, like, physical altercation between the two of you? You said a month ago he hit you with a curtain rod.
Yeah, with a curtain rod. That's why I can't believe you guys didn't take that either.
Wow.
Like, we've been good. I don't know if, like...
Why would they have to take that?
For DNA to prove that he hit, right. Why the fuck would they take that? That's nothing to do. Was it involved in George's death? Then no. Why would we take it?
Right. I mean, they're even just sitting there like, well, okay. Yeah. We don't need that. Exactly. We have this suitcase.
Yeah, exactly. I bet that's the kind of stuff Sarah's lawyers have had to deal with all this time.
Yes.
Like, why didn't you get the curtain rod? Just unimportant, unrelated things that she's insisting they do.
Yeah. And they're all incompetent because they're not doing it.
Right.
Like, it's since the last time he got out of jail, like, we've been good, and he's been having his classes and seeing his probation officer, who's amazing. So...
What do you mean by good? What's your definition of good?
The probation officer?
Oh, no, you said you guys have been good. What's your definition?
Yeah,
I've
the
been
probation
good.
officer. They want to know about the probation officer, stupid.
Right. Tell us how great she is.
She'll go on. It's really interesting. She'll go on to like hype up this probation officer, but only because she was flattered by the probation officer. Like, she needs the validation from the probation officer on how good of a girlfriend, mommy she is to George.
Yeah, but I think I don't know how true that is either.
Oh, I'm sure it's not. I'm
Yeah.
sure it's highly exaggerated.
Yeah. It would have to be. I mean, could you imagine that a probation officer who is in charge of monitoring George, who clearly has an issue with domestic violence, clearly, would you want him living with the person that he's victimized? Doesn't
No,
that
of course
seem
not.
like a
Yeah.
very dangerous situation for them to be involved in? I mean, considering also that they both are heavy drinkers. And it's a recipe for disaster, and obviously it was. But all of those moments, all of those times when he was getting arrested, and you're going to be flattering the person who is the second half of this very dangerous situation. It seems to me like you would want them completely separated.
Yeah, I think they tried to separate them, but they would make it a condition that they couldn't have contact with each other, but then Sarah would drop the charges or bail George out of jail. Like, this was a recurring thing that happened over and over again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think their hands were tied to an extent. But yeah, you're right, of course. I'm sure the probation officer could see that this was just a disaster waiting to happen.
Yeah.
I don't think you all understand. He comes at me all the time. He comes at me. So it's either I flee or try to go upstairs and go to sleep. That's usually what it is. And I don't know if you talked to Brian about any of that, but most of the time when I flee, I go over there. So...
Right, but you're saying that you guys have been good, and when I asked you yesterday, there hasn't, the last incident that you could remember was the curtain rod incident, which you said was a month ago, so...
Give or take.
Right. So what do you mean by he comes after you? Like...
He gets belligerently drunk. Like, I don't know if you all have looked through my phone yet and seen any of the...
They have looked through her phone. They have. And we did too. We had a little preview of that last week when we saw the video that she took. But they have seen that too. And that's basically why she's sitting there today.
Yeah. It's so funny. She didn't know what was on her phone, and she thought that they would find things that show a very one-sided story about like George being abusive to her.
Yeah.
Like, check your phone, bud.
Yeah, and also other things that would make it appear that they had a great night that night, that everything was good. So yeah, she's going to explain. So let's see.
The pictures and the videos that I had taken, and at one point, I started documenting everything.
Okay.
So you all will see in my pictures, bloody fingers, split foreheads, he split my nose. I've got this.
Right.
I don't know if Brian told you about it, where I had to have I had one really bad surgery, but then it got really, 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 really bad, where I had to go like 4 or 5 more times afterwards for them to tend to it, from him poking me in the back of the leg.
Right.
So it's...
Did he stab her?
I couldn't tell. I can't see on the screen. What is this?
She was pointing toward like her calf, like the back of her calf.
Oh, okay.
And he said poking. So I'm assuming he must have stabbed her.
I wouldn't be surprised. Like, that would not be
Yeah.
shocking information to me at all.
Wow. Wow.
Are you still with him?
Everybody asks me that. Can I tell you guys this? I really love him.
Oh no. Not that, but Daddy, I love him.
But Daddy, I love him. That's what I think about every time I hear her say that.
I know.
Like I do, and I feel like I can help him. Like I feel like I could help him, which I did, because he came a really long way from where he was in Philadelphia to moving back to here and to dealing with everything else that he's been dealing with. I've really helped him. I bailed him out of jail, 3 times.
That doesn't help him.
Bailed him out of jail for abusing you.
Right. Yeah, but how does that help? So let's just think overall. So he was in Philadelphia and then he moved to Florida. How much has he grown since then? What about his life is better? So think about what his life was at that time. He was unemployed, living with a woman who had complete and total control over pretty much every aspect of his life, in the sense of he needed her to survive. He didn't, on his own, I should say. It sounded like his family would take him, but in order for him to not be living with his parents, he had to live with her. And so he depended on her for a place to stay, for all of his expenses. So I don't know if he was receiving any type of unemployment, because I know that he worked at that Ace Hardware while they were together.
Mm-hmm.
And then the store closed, apparently. So I don't know if he was laid off or if he was fired prior to that or something. Was he getting some type of unemployment? Or did he have absolutely no income at all?
Sounds like he had no income.
Mm-hmm.
Like the way she made it sound. I feel like if he was getting unemployment, she would have said that.
Right.
All she really said about it was he was stressed out about not having a job, and about his ex-wife asking him for money that he couldn't give her because he didn't have. She did say that he would try to take care of her and Lucas by paying a bill here or there, or like buying groceries here or there, which really made me mad, by the way. I mean, it's a little off topic, but you're going to pay for somebody else's kid before your own. Like,
That is true.
I'm sure Lucas did not need George to take care of him. He has his father,
right,
who I'm sure took very, perfectly good care of him. But yeah, off topic. But it sounded like he just didn't have any money.
Yeah, you're right. It doesn't sound like he had any. And he really, I mean, well, yes, he did need it, but he didn't really need it. She provided everything for him.
Well, Brian did, yeah.
Well, exactly, through her, of course.
I've gone to every single hearing and every single arraignment, everything that I did for him. Gone to see all his public defenders, go to the state. I've gone to the state. I did everything for him because I'm trying to help him, because I had hope in him. And he was trying. He was really trying. And then he starts to think about things, and I think he gets overwhelmed, and then it's like, the next thing I know, he's drinking. So it's like, oh man, I know where this is going to go, so I'm going to go upstairs and read a book, or I'm going to go for a bike ride, or I'm going to do something else. Or I don't want to drink. I don't want to drink. The occasional wine, whatever, or if it's a weekend, that's when you have a good time.
A weekend? Every day's a weekend.
I know. She's unemployed.
Mm-hmm.
And what day did this happen on?
It was Sunday night when he died. So then Monday was when she called, and now this is Tuesday.
So Sunday night isn't, I mean, Sunday technically is the weekend, but Sunday night isn't. Monday is a work day, hun.
Well, it's been a little bit, so, you know, she has to get up and look for jobs on the laptop all day while George cleans, and then they switch, and she'll clean and he'll look for jobs. But it doesn't really matter what time that is. She doesn't know because she doesn't look at the clock.
Yeah, who needs clocks?
You don't have to wake up the next day. I have to wake up the next day and do things. I have to tend to Lucas. I have to take him to school. I have all this stuff to do. He doesn't know how to, I guess, maintain himself, where I can do 50 things at once and still know the 50 things more prior that I need to get done. He can't process like that. He didn't process like that. So he would literally, not literally, but have smoke coming out of his ears. So the next thing you know, he doesn't want to deal with it. I'm going to go get something to drink. So the majority of the time, I would hang out outside or do something else because I don't want to drink. And every time, his job broke his heart. And it made me sad because he had so much pride in his job. And the store that he took care of so much totally went downhill. Mm-hmm. And that broke his heart because he had put so much work and effort into fixing it up. And his manager was awful and basically gave up on all of the employees. So I think that had a huge bearing on why he would drink so much. His ex-wife is bonkers. Mm-hmm. She was all over him all the time. Send me money, send me money, send me money. How can I send you money when I don't have a job? And he's still trying to take care of me and Lucas by paying a bill here or there, getting some groceries. So he always had something on his mind, which is why, again, I got the puzzles and the paint to try to get him off of it so we don't have a drink, or he doesn't have a drink. So when you all see my phone, you can see all of the damage he has done to me and the videos of him smashing my television because he's belligerently drunk. Where most of the time, I just don't want to be there. And I try to help him. I try to calm him down. Mm-hmm. Eventually, he just passes out.
Well, yesterday it made it sound like you guys were just drinking like a glass or two. Like, yeah, you obviously had the bottle, but you told me on you told me on recording like that you were not drunk, he was not drunk, you guys were having a good time.
I can't get drunk. Number one, I do not want to get drunk. I don't like being non-compos mentis, having my wits about myself. I don't like feeling out of control. Mm-hmm. So
I'm just saying you're making it sound like he's a raging alcoholic today, and yesterday I was kind of asking you those questions and you're like a little defensive, like, no, we're not alcoholics.
I'm not.
We are not, you know. But you guys were both sober on Sunday, to your knowledge, because when I said you went and passed out, you were like, no, I didn't pass out, I just fell asleep. So now it's kind of like, what is it? Were you guys drinking and it got out of hand and it got physical?
No.
Or is it?
Sunday was one of the better days that we have had in quite some time. He's dancing with my dog. You can see that too on the pictures, him loving the dog. He loves the dog and dancing around, having a good time, and just being happy kind of thing. He doesn't know. I can get like maybe 2-3 glasses of wine. and I'll be fine. But I have to have my wits about myself because I don't know what to expect.
Well, let's talk about Sunday. What was Sunday? How were you, like, how many glasses of wine did you have? How many glasses of wine did he have? The bottle was gone. I mean, I don't know if you poured any out. Yes.
No, that was from previous.
You said that there was a half bottle left over.
Yeah, about this much.
Mhm. And then that you had wine. Well, I don't even know how the wine. How'd you guys get the wine for Sunday?
I'm guessing he went to Publix.
Does he like leave the house and you stay home, or do you go to Publix? Like, cause
sometimes I'll go with him.
Okay. Did you go with him Sunday to Publix?
So most of the time, what happens is because the convenience store where we get cigarettes is here, and then Publix literally is cattywampus to it.
Okay.
So what he'll do is he'll go by Publix, and then on the way back catch the convenience store.
Okay.
So
is that what he did Sunday?
I'm guessing that's what he did, because the next thing I know, he's walking in with a bottle.
Okay.
All of a sudden, he's just walking in with a bottle.
Yeah, like magic.
Yeah, I have no idea where it came from. She couldn't have given them the money for it, right?
Oh, that's a good question, too. Yeah, I wish they had asked her that. Well, where did he get the money to buy this bottle of wine then? It was actually 2 bottles of wine.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, there were 2 empty bottles of wine in the trash, and the receipt that showed that they had both been purchased that day at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's him trying to be nice, so I don't have to go out and do it. Plus, there's stuff that I run.
But I thought that you didn't want to drink. So why would you have to go out and get wine?
Right. Him trying to be nice. If you don't want to drink, why is he buying wine?
Yeah.
With your money.
With your money. Right. It's not like you asked him to go, right?
I bet you she did.
I bet you she did.
She's all cattywampus.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to start using that.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
So that's usually what will happen. Or I'm folding laundry and he'll go run out and do whatever.
Okay. So, where were you guys at on drunkenness, not drunkenness on Sunday? You told us you weren't drunk.
No, I was not drunk.
Right.
I was not drunk. So with him, I don't know. I know when it's like, oh, okay, man, where I have told him, slow down. It's starting to catch up with you. Slow down. Slow down. And another thing, too, is I don't like listening to music with him because he gets too involved in the music, and the music that he listens to is a little rough around the edges and, like, just...
Cool story. Could you answer the question, though? She just asked, how drunk was George? Or how drunk were you guys? Sarah said, I wasn't drunk. I was not drunk. Okay, nobody asked about George's music choice or what you usually do or what he usually... Just, was he fucking drunk?
Well, she's going to get there.
I don't think she will.
She's did...
another one. She just loves to talk. And I noticed that that's a trend with a lot of the people that we talk about, like Jody is another one. She just loves to go off on tangents and just talk about herself.
Yeah. I read something, I think, or maybe heard it in a video about George's music and what he liked. Do you know what kind of music he liked?
I don't. What was it?
There's 2 that I remember. I know he liked Lil Wayne and Maroon 5.
Oh, that's rough around the edges for sure. Maroon 5.
Definitely is, yeah. There was somebody else too, and I can't remember. Oh, Bad Bunny, I think.
I've never heard a Bad Bunny song.
Yeah, no, I haven't either. But those were the 3, I think, that were just mentioned of George liking. So Sarah does not like that music. He gets too into it. I wonder what too into it means.
I know, getting too into Maroon 5. I would love to see that.
I would too. Yeah. But yeah, she does love to talk. She's giving details that don't matter. Mm-hmm. She's talking about things that don't matter. She's not answering their questions at all, really. They're asking her pretty direct questions, and she's going off and talking about, she's really just taking an opportunity to talk about how bad he is and how much she's stable and she helps him. She can't get drunk because she's the one who has to be the one who has her wits about her. Right? She can't be all cattywampus in her mind.
Right.
She... Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. She can do 6 things at once and know that there are 60 more things, and she can do that. She can do that, but George can't.
No, he's
just kind of a big moron. He gets too overwhelmed. He literally, well, not literally, has steam coming out of his ears. And he just can't handle it, so he goes and gets drunk and listens to Lil Wayne.
Yeah, and she hates that because he just gets too into it. Jeez.
Listening to his music, so I kept asking him, let's just you and me talk. You and me will just be the ones that are talking, which was fine, because I mean we were playing with the dog, whatever, and then it's like, okay, now let's do the painting. We just did the puzzle, took a break, now let's do this. Sure enough, sat down, we're sitting in there talking, laughing, talking about new movies. We're watching movie trailers while we're doing painting and all that other stuff. So it's still background noise to him, because I think that's what he's used to, is having background noise, where me, I can sit in here all day with not a peep. But
they never asked you about that.
Yeah. Cool. What is the relevance there?
I don't know. I guess just to keep talking about how great she is.
Yeah, George can't handle it. He needs background noise all the time. Me, I don't need any. I can sit here in silence. You can't, because you also can't shut your mouth. So you are your own background noise, Sarah.
Yeah. And so when she says, let's just be here and you and me talk, what are they going to talk about?
Not Lil Wayne. That's for sure.
No, we're not going to talk about music.
They can talk about her and how great she is, and how they could talk about his domestic violence classes he's been taking and all he's learned. How he learned about how poorly he's treated her and how great she is for helping him and sticking by him.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what they can talk about.
You always have to have
Where was the dog? Sorry, I just she said they have a dog, and they were playing with the poor dog. Got these 2 drunk idiots. It's like, oh, why didn't I get to go with Dad in the divorce?
I know. I think there were 2. I think
2
there
dogs.
were 2. Yeah. Huh. That was part of the very, very beginning of the body cam footage. I cut that out because it wasn't anything. It was just kind of chaotic. You know, the cop is talking to a lot of people, and the the fire department was still there and all of that. But yeah, she said there were, I believe, 2 dogs, and they thought that the back was fenced in, so they let them out. But they ended up coming, they came back and they were like inside the house under the table or something like that. So I'm sure they ended up going with Brian at some point, I would imagine.
Yeah, that's what because they weren't, usually if there are dogs there when the police show up, the body cam footage is going to be full of dogs barking at these strangers in their house. Maybe Brian took them when he first came over. I don't know.
I don't know. They were still there. Yeah, they were still there. You can kind of hear them at like a certain point. You can hear dogs barking. I think toward the end of the body cam. Yeah. But they definitely weren't. They weren't like my dogs or your dogs.
Yeah.
That's for sure. I think she said one of them was deaf and the other one was blind or something. I'm not sure.
Oh.
Yeah, something like that.
Baby.
But yeah, so they were inside, which was really good. Okay. But still, they're with these crazy people all the time. Yeah.
Which I didn't mind because the trailers were cool. And he was interested in showing them to me. Getting excited about movies that were out or upcoming.
Okay.
So
on your laptop, you're talking about?
Mhm.
Like, okay.
And I mean, and then it was.
But you said it was a good day. Like, you guys didn't have any conversations about your relationship. You guys didn't go down like the rabbit hole. Like, had too many to drink, and you guys start getting.
No, when I tell you this, it made me so happy that he actually listened to what I had to say. With just, we'll get through it. This will be fine. It's just, it's a small hurdle that you and I together will get through because.
I'm talking about the money, jobs,
Daughters.
stress.
Yes.
Nothing
No.
relationship-wise, though. Like, no issues. Like, did you guys have a conversation about your relationship, or was it just about
just
like
what's
the stresses
going on right now?
Got it.
I try to evoke it from him so he gets it off his chest because I call him the volcano where eventually he's going to erupt.
Right.
And what he has learned in his classes is to communicate, which is a huge thing in a relationship,
right.
where he has been practicing communication. So he actually talks to me about things and unburdens himself. Put it on me. I'll sit there and try and figure it out for you like I have almost everything. Not a worry. Just tell me. Get it out of you.
Right.
But it was, when I tell you, I was so happy. Like, it was such a good day. I kid you not. The weather was beautiful outside. I'm the one that had him go inside so we can do puzzles and painting and listen to music or whatever else he wants to do. So then he starts doing whatever it is we're doing together in the living room and then starts talking because I think he gets comfortable with, okay, you know what, we're here, it is a good day. Let me go.
Maybe drinking makes him a little bit more comfortable to talk. Maybe he's a little bit more talkative when that happens. And I'm so curious too, like, when did it turn on them? Because I have a feeling that they're not just at each other's throats 24/7. I have a feeling that with alcohol being such a problem that, you know, they start off drinking, maybe they have a glass or two and they're kind of feeling a little tipsy. So things are fine, you know, they're kind of silly maybe, and they're doing their thing, watching movie trailers, playing music and, you know, painting and stuff. And then they keep drinking. And that's the problem. And then at some point, it hits that tipping point where it's not fun anymore. And now I'm no longer tipsy. I'm drunk. And I'm not a happy drunk. I'm not the, you know, the type that's just going to kind of mellow out and eventually go to sleep. I'm the type that's going to be really angry. And that's what's going to end up coming out. And that's when the fighting starts. That's what I think happens. And I think that's what ended up happening on that night. It just was a little bit different, obviously, because George didn't make it out alive. But I think that it was just a common occurrence that they had.
Go ahead and explain myself. So I know. Nobody else knows, but I know. Nobody knew George better than I did. I say that I knew George better than himself. And I tried in every way, shape, and form. Ask everyone. I helped him. I took care of him. I miss him a lot, and I didn't even sleep last night. I miss him.
I wonder why she didn't sleep the night before.
Yeah, well, I know I wouldn't.
Would you not sleep because you'd be terrified of what was going to happen to you?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly why. Especially if I couldn't remember all of the events from the night before. But that's what I would be afraid of. That's what I'm afraid of every time I drink. Not killing somebody.
Oh, geez.
Not usually.
Right.
Yeah, not usually. But like waking up and being like, fuck, I don't know exactly what happened last night. That makes me very nervous. So I would imagine in her place, she knows George is dead. She knows he was in the suitcase. She knows she zipped him up in the suitcase. But that's pretty much it for what she knows. She knows they fight. They get very, very violent when they're drinking. So yeah, you'd think she would be terrified, and she is.
Yeah.
She's scared of getting arrested. It's not because she just misses George so much and she's so sad that he's dead. I haven't seen her show any emotion for his death, like the end of his life.
No. No, nothing. Nothing. So when they're talking about the injuries that he had, which sound pretty significant, right, to his head and all of that, she's not saying like, I mean, just like what you said, she's not expressing any emotion. Like, you would be like, oh my God, you know, what type of, you know, maybe you'd want to know more or something like that. But she's just talking about, I don't understand. We had a great night. And when I tell you that we had a great night, we had a great night. I don't want to drink.
I didn't touch him.
Right.
I didn't touch him. I have not laid a hand on him.
Right. We didn't get into it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
A lot.
I mean, is there any chance it got to be too much for you and you couldn't handle taking care of him and
I never stopped.
trying to...
I never stopped. That's what I'm here for. I never stopped.
I never stopped. I love that dramatic. That's like her movie scene moment.
I know.
I never stopped. That's why I'm here right now, to take care of him. That's not why you're there.
No.
That's not why you're there.
No, that is definitely not why. But she's definitely afraid. And she was afraid the day before. If you remember her asking, are all the people that are here right now, is this all that's going to be here? Like, is there anybody else coming? She, like, was so needing to know what was going to happen. When are you going to talk to his family? What are you going to tell his family? You know, and not having the control over anything, I think is what kept her up at night.
Yeah. It's just so funny that her attempted portrayal of herself, it's what she's trying to portray is so different from what the detectives see when they look at her.
Very different, especially because they have her phone.
Yes.
You know, that is such an important piece of evidence. And it shows exactly what was happening that night. Not this little story that she tries to tell about them. They were both laughing. Nobody was laughing. You know, except for her when she was taunting him. But
yeah, her evil laughter. He sure as hell wasn't laughing.
No.
I'm here now again. I'm still trying to help him.
Yeah, we just don't, I mean, it's unexplainable.
I know. They don't even know what to say at this point. But I would love to know, though, how are you trying to help him in this moment? If you don't know what happened, if you don't understand what happened, what can you possibly do to help him explain what happened that night? You don't know what happened. You can't, you don't know what his injuries are. You don't know how he got them. So how are you helping exactly?
No, and all she's done is deny and try to deflect and defend herself. Like we were saying when they mentioned the injuries, the first thing she said is, I didn't touch him. I didn't touch him. And just talking about how bad he is and how great she is. She's not helping him. She's trying to make him look awful to make herself look better. But that doesn't help him in any way, and it doesn't help solve the mystery of what happened to George.
Exactly. Yeah.
How he got these injuries, and
I have no idea.
you were the only one with him.
100% right hand to God. I have no idea how he got them. Nobody touched anybody. Nobody touched anybody.
You had mentioned that you would take photos, videos, just kind of like of proof and just in general?
Yeah, I started documenting at one point, but that was way before, I think, the last time that he got arrested, where he was flying off the deep end.
Okay.
But then I had him bailed out. I got him out of jail.
Right.
But because he had violated the pretrial diversion, this time it's probation, so you don't have a choice in it. You have to go to see your probation officer. You have to go to these classes. It's court ordered.
Mhm.
Where it took him a while to get used to it and understand, they're not messing around. I even went down and met his probation officer, which I say she's wonderful. That's one of my questions too I need to talk to you about. Hugged me and said how much she knows that I take care of him. She called me personally one time when George was at work, when he was working. 42-minute phone call. She and I just saying how grateful she is that George has me. And
I wonder how much of that was Sarah talking.
I can guess the vast majority of it. And for her, the probation officer saying how great she was, how grateful she is for Sarah, I'm sure that was just Sarah telling her how great she is and how good she is for George, and the probation officer not arguing it. Just like,
Sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely.
Right.
she knows how hard I'm working to help him, just as she is and just as the classes will. So once he started actually going on a regular basis to the probation officer and then to his substance abuse class and his, I don't know what BIP stands for, Matters Intervention Program.
Mhm.
Substance abuse class. Sounds like maybe that was lacking a little bit.
Yeah, he needed more work in that class. Sarah was
Definitely
trying
did.
real hard by sending him out to buy wine.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And actually listening to what it is everyone had to say, he changed. Like I could see a change in him, where before lashing out, he would think about it. And would always come home and show me his papers. And we would look over his papers together. Where it's like, wow, you actually are learning this in class? And some of the stuff that they would show them, like videos, he would come home and be like, Sarah, I'm so sorry for what I've done to you. Because for a video that he watches, to make him feel that way, where it's like, oh man, I have done her wrong. But he's changed. He changed.
And that's why you're still with him, even though he's done all these things to you. And
When I tell you I love him, I love him.
Even when you love somebody, you have limits.
Everybody tells me that. All my neighbors don't tell me that. The office, property manager.
At some point, somebody gets enough, then they have to do something to defend themselves.
I would just flee. And I don't know if you would like to see on my phone, or I think it's actually on a laptop. I actually, because, and you have to understand too, I have, like, prior to classes in PO, kicked him out. How many times? I had him arrested. How many times?
But you also went down and bailed him out
I know.
the next day.
I know.
What's on your laptop?
What was I going to tell you? Oh, previously,
Mhm.
I actually looked up how to file a restraining order.
Okay.
Because I would take him out, his parents, because of them constantly having to take him back in, his bags of clothes, all his stuff. The last time, the father came out and irate and just not even, I don't even know if he knew Lucas was in the car, just opened the back of my car and just started throwing all his crap in, just throwing it. Like the car would jostle, he was throwing all his stuff. At that point, because I continually did it, not continually, I think I maybe did it 3 times, and he has nowhere else to go, they got fed up and said, nope, either you're staying there or you're staying here. But if you're staying here at their place, it's permanent. You're not going back over there anymore. So what happens is he pursues me. So I don't know.
Okay. So, of course, his family's going to be fed up with it. Who wouldn't be with these two? There's so much drama. He's coming back to their house with all of his stuff. Then he goes back because she takes him back. And then she kicks him out again or has him go to jail. It's this continuous cycle. So, of course, they're going to eventually have to put their foot down and just basically be like, get your shit together, you guys. It's way too much. I would absolutely hate that, to have that type of situation happening. People coming back and forth, and, you know, I'm sure that he's talking about how horrible she is to his family. And then to just go running back again. They're sick of it too. It's ridiculous.
If y'all know where Katie Way Trail is. Okay, so it's literally right there from our apartment. Would ride his bike to work, but before he would leave extra early and come up to the wall, stand on top of his bike and poke his head over because he would know that I would be outside having my morning cigarette and cup of coffee. And I would also know too what time he would get off of work, where I would know, come getting off of work, he's going to do the same thing. So it's not like I ever got like a break from him, where I told you all yesterday, or whenever it was, I started to feel that it was too much togetherness. And when you have too much togetherness, friction happens. So
what was the whole pursuing story? What was the whole point of that?
Just to show how desirable she is. I don't know. What's the point of any of this?
I don't know. But then she's talking about how it's too much togetherness, and, you know, that's not a good thing. So you didn't have to take him back.
Exactly. That's what she's like. It's not like I ever got a break from him. You could have a permanent break from him. Break up with him. Kick him out.
Yeah.
It's your place. It's your house, you know, apartment. He's not paying any bills. You don't need him there.
Right. Exactly. And who cares if he rides his bike over to your house and peeks over the fence? Like, tell him to go away.
Yeah, tell him go away. Exactly. Well, she said she looked into how to get a restraining order. But of course she never actually went through with it. And if she did, she would have broken it. Yeah. Because I think she loved this. She was just as big of a problem in this toxic relationship as he was.
Yes. Yes, definitely.
I'm going to go ride my bike. I'm going to go upstairs and read a book. But every waking moment, he wants to be with me. So, and mind you, our townhome is either upstairs or downstairs. So it's like, if you would like to sit downstairs and watch a movie or play on the laptop, look up some jobs, you're more than welcome to. I'm just going to be upstairs maybe watching one of my shows or maybe reading a book. So, and then when that would happen, we really needed that. So what's for dinner? And then we would cook together and eat dinner and then crawl in the bed and watch a movie.
Are you talking about this is like recent? I don't. You kind of like lost me. Like, what
it was a little while ago. But
now you're talking about tension building up and that you need space. So, have you been feeling that way lately, or
no?
Okay.
No. Okay. My thing is too, so you all know. Oh, I hate that you can't talk to her, but Dee, his ex-wife. When I say a monster, she's a monster. Like she withholds their children from speaking to him. So he gets upset about that, and then she like completely berates him about money, about the father that he is, what he did to her, all this other stuff.
I'm sure it was awful. Now, we don't know this woman, of course, right? But think about how chaotic his life is. And he's a domestic abuser. I'm sure she's not the first one. It could have very well happened with this other woman. And I'm sure he was a terrible father.
Yeah, he sounds like a total deadbeat.
Yeah.
So it's okay for Sarah to berate him and talk about what a piece of shit he was and how he needed all this help and he'd always attack her and get real drunk and all the things he did wrong. But his ex-wife can't say the same thing, basically. Can't say like, hey, I wish you'd pay for our 3 kids. I wish you'd help me. He had nothing. He didn't even have his own phone.
No, he didn't. So he was in Philadelphia. He was married and had the 3 kids, right? And then he went to Massachusetts. I don't know how long he was there. And then he went to Florida. So what was going on?
I don't know.
You know, how long has he been absent from their lives? You know?
Yeah. He obviously just had no stability whatsoever.
No, none. No.
It doesn't matter. I mean, mind you, this has not like been recent, but which is why he didn't even bother calling anymore, because he knows that she's going to answer and he's going to have to talk to her, so therefore he can't talk to his daughter. The other time he talked to her, made her talk to Cookie. That's on my cell phone too, so you can see it.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter.
What does she have to do though with anything about what happened Sunday and into Monday? Like,
Excellent
Good question. Yeah.
Excellent
That's what we're
question.
wondering too.
All right, let's see if Sarah's going to actually answer.
Okay.
No, I'm just saying, like, previously,
Okay.
why the incidents would happen is she plays a big part in it.
Okay.
What?
So she really didn't answer that.
She's saying she played a big part in the previous incidents. Him getting drunk and out of control was because his ex-wife is a monster. That was her part.
Yes. She's really
What
the
a
catalyst
shitbag.
that made everything happen. She made everything happen. If she wasn't such a monster, if she wasn't on his ass all the time for not paying for his kids and wanting him to do that, then he wouldn't be drinking like he is and he wouldn't beat up Sarah. So do you see now?
I do. I see that his ex-wife is a monster.
Definitely. And
She's the one who should be called the blue-eyed white dragon.
Exactly. Exactly. It's funny too how Sarah's like, I hate that you can't talk to her. Well, I bet you they did. I bet you they did at some point.
I know. Why does she think they can't talk to her?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's all cattywampus.
Yeah.
On
Is
top
that-
of job
yeah.
and money and groceries and all that.
Okay.
Sunday, when I tell you this, I have no idea. I have no idea.
Is there anybody else at the house? at
Nope,
any
it's just
point?
me and him.
Since talking yesterday, do you remember any like timelines better? Like what time you guys were playing? What time he was zipped up in the luggage? What time you
I
went
told you-
upstairs?
We started because we cleaned the house a little bit, did some laundry.
You started the activities around 4, you said?
Yes, around 4:30ish, and then.
You just said that it was dark when you were playing hide and seek, and I'm just curious
Yeah.
if you remember.
But when we were outside, that's where we would start
Mhm.
and talk about things, and then eventually I was the one that had him come inside so we could
About
do
what
stuff.
time, do you remember what time that was, is what she's asking.
And you said you went up to bed around midnight,
Midnight-ish.
fell asleep around 12:30ish. But those are the only times I have. So I have 4 and I have midnight. So there's a big gap. So I'm just curious, like, if you recall when you went upstairs to hide in the shower, or
Like when we started to play hide and seek.
Yeah.
Well, we went inside probably about, if I had to guess, we weren't out there too long. Maybe about 6-ish. Then.
You're talking about from hanging out outside and like.
Mhm.
Okay.
Well, we have 2 beach chairs that are out there and
Right.
just enjoy the weather.
Gotcha.
Plus, it started to get dark and gnats and mosquitoes.
Yeah.
So, let's go inside. I don't want to be out here anymore.
Okay.
All right, let's go. So we're doing whatever. We did it for a while because that puzzle, I don't know if they took it or they saw it. Worked on the puzzle again, finished it, started to paint. Well, started to listen to music for a little bit. Started to paint. Can we turn the music off? No problem. Start at the top, paint, whatever. Maybe, gosh, that puzzle, we worked on that for probably a good hour and a half. So 8 o'clock-ish?
Is when you went to hide upstairs originally?
No, that's when we were like painting. So then it's like, okay, well, I don't want to paint anymore. Let's just, come on. Okay, you want to play hide and seek? What he does is, okay, tag, you're it. So it's like, okay, we know. Okay, take off.
Mhm.
That's what we did.
And then you went upstairs, and then he didn't come up, and you came down, and the suitcase was there originally because you guys were planning to do donations, so it was already there. Have you guys ever played you said you played hide and seek like probably 3 times in your relationship?
Mm-hmm.
When you have played, have you ever zipped him up in a suitcase prior?
No.
Okay. So it was just kind of like that prop was there, and it was there,
yes.
and it was in play because...
Why do you say it like that, though?
I would never do that.
You did, though, dummy.
Right. So what do you mean you would never do that? You did.
Yeah, it's funny that when she gets really defensive like that, no.
Yeah.
What do you mean, no?
Right.
You did. And why wouldn't you? If it was just a harmless, playful game,
Exactly.
like, oh, just zipped him up, we were both laughing, then why are you acting like it was such a horrible thing?
Right.
And you would never do it. But you did do it, and it was innocent. Which is it?
She's not really sure.
You would never zip them up in a suitcase?
I mean, we were playing.
No, I know,
that
but
time,
I'm saying, I'm talking about hide and seek, which is a game, so...
The suitcase originally is in our closet, buried all the way to the back. If you, I know the CSI people saw our closet. Our closet needs to be cleaned out really bad. My son's clothes need to be...
Oh my God.
Let's talk about the origin of the suitcase.
Yes, and then let's talk about the state of the closet and why it's in that state and what is exactly in there. Who cares? It's exhausting.
I like the little comments too. Your CSI people will see that. Or they've been in there, you know. And even with the puzzle, like I'm sure they took the puzzle.
Yeah, oh, I'm sure they saw the puzzle. We worked for an hour and a half on the puzzle. They really examined the puzzle.
They did. They were impressed.
And thought about what level was the puzzle? Was it for ages 8 and up? Was it for
drunk adults?
My God, dude.
Yeah.
Cleaned out really bad because they don't fit him anymore, and I'm tired of looking at them. So he took it upon himself, including that suitcase, to take it downstairs so we can get all of our clothes, our donations, and everything, and just leave the whole thing by the clothing and shoe thing at my son's school.
No, I'm just asking, in the past, like, have you ever zipped him up in anything, jokingly or not, but obviously no. I understand, you're claiming that Sunday it was a joking matter, you were laughing, yes. He was laughing, but what I'm just asking is in the past, like, is it something
Absolutely
that you
not.
guys normally do?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
We were actually this last game running out of places to hide because we have a townhome where it's upstairs or downstairs. So.
Okay, so do you remember making any videos or maybe having any any photos, videos that you remember doing on your phone on Sunday?
No.
No?
I think I took a picture of a dog.
Okay. But your phone is password protected, you have the password, he has the facial recognition, so it's not like someone else could be on your phone.
No, I have both.
But you have the face and the password.
Yes.
Yeah, but he only has the face, correct?
No.
To be able to get onto your phone, you told me that he looks at the phone.
Oh, I misunderstood. I thought you were asking if I did. Yes, it's me.
Okay. Does he have access to your phone? Because you said it's a shared phone. Okay, how does he have access?
Sarah, can I borrow your phone? Yeah, it's right there on the kitchen counter.
Okay, but how does he get into it? Because it's password.
That's not what she's asking.
Don't come and get it.
Obviously, that's how he would get it.
Right.
Too, like he's
asking, how do you open the damn phone?
And say, okay, I need to borrow your phone. And he'll hold it while I'm cooking or doing something, do the facial recognition.
Okay, so he doesn't know the password and he doesn't have the facial recognition. No. But he is the only other person that would use your phone, I'm assuming, other than...
Lucas.
Right. But Lucas wasn't there Sunday.
Right.
Right. So, to your recollection, no videos on Sunday?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
I mean, I guess I thought I maybe took a picture of them, the two of Tess and
The dogs.
George and them dancing, but I mean, it's just Tess.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I have something that I want to show you that we found, and it was from your phone.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see it?
If you need to move it around, go ahead.
No, I don't remember that.
For everything you've done to me. For everything you've done to me.
Your battery's about to die.
Shut it down.
Oh. Okay.
Let me.
No reaction.
What a weird reaction, because you know her heart dropped when she heard that, when she saw that video. I don't think she did remember taking it.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think so. I don't think she had any memory of taking it, because she would have at least deleted it. Like,
You
they
would
could still
think
recover
so.
it.
Yeah.
But no, her response was, your battery's about to die. She just heard herself say, for everything you've done to me.
That was really good. But yeah, she's heard that, and she can see him too. She can see the suitcase. And she's not having any reaction, like, just like you said, your battery's about to die, instead of, what is that? Oh my God.
Right.
You know, there's absolutely nothing.
Mm-hmm.
The battery doesn't last very long.
It used to last a lot longer than that. I don't know what happened.
Okay. Let me just grab something.
All right. No, I was just simply asking because you had a look on your face when she asked you if you've ever done that before. You looked kind of shocked and.
No.
Okay, but why did you say it like that? Like.
I don't think you all understand who I am.
I love those statements. I don't think you understand who I am. I don't think that you understand our relationship. I don't think that you understand George. I know him better than he knows himself. I love those.
Okay. Well, tell me.
I mean, I've always been a straight A student. I am an outstanding mother to my son.
Okay.
I excel at everything.
Okay. So I've always been a straight A student. When were you in school? When was the last time you were in school? You're 42.
Yeah.
So, and in order for you to say that, I'm going to need to see your report cards. Show me.
You're an excellent mother. You're an outstanding mother to your son. You don't even have custody of your son.
No.
So I'm going to beg to differ on that one. I excel at everything I do. Oh, this woman's innocent. Let her go.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah. Someone who excels at everything isn't going to lock somebody up in a suitcase, right?
Yeah. Wait a minute, guys. Get her school transcript.
Yeah.
She was a straight A student.
This is really impressive.
Yeah. I'm so sorry, ma'am. You are an outstanding mother and a straight A student 30 years ago.
You're excelling at winning us over. That's what she's. I know. She has an ex-husband who has to blow up her phone in order to make sure that she gets her ass over to the school to pick up their son. Blow up her phone, because he even said she's not good about this sort of thing.
Yeah.
No, she's unreliable. I don't know what she did for work before, but she hasn't worked in years. So, you know, she doesn't excel. She excels at not working and just kind of hanging around, doing whatever. She's not this ultra productive person that she tries to present.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're not sitting around cleaning all day. They're not sitting around like, oh, you can look for jobs, I'm going to fold laundry. Like, no, they didn't do shit.
No, they got drunk, and she excels at doing puzzles.
That's true.
That's
and also
impressive.
Painting.
But yeah, her house is a mess. She even said her closet was full of shit, needs to be cleaned out. Like, they're not productive people at all. And absolutely, you're right. She wants to portray this image of like sitting around just like desperately job hunting all day.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so. She, like you said, she hadn't worked in years.
No.
I would not do that.
You wouldn't lock somebody in a suitcase?
Well, I didn't like completely lock it. I mean, I opened it with one finger. I left enough in there for him to get out.
Okay.
And I wasn't planning on going upstairs and going to sleep.
Okay. No, it's just the way you said it.
You guys are scaring me.
Why?
Well, we just want you to watch this. It came from your phone. Don't you want to know what's on it?
Yes, please.
Oh, all of a sudden she's scared. Why are you scared, Sarah?
Yeah, why are you
Are
scared?
they scaring you?
I know.
Because they showed you evidence.
Yes.
Is it long? Because I don't know how much I can take.
No.
I don't know how much I can take.
I don't know how to find your...
Do I have to watch this? I continuously throw up. I don't sleep. I don't want to see it, if that's okay.
I don't see you throwing up. Have you seen her throw up?
Do I have to watch this? I mean, why not just say, am I free to go? Because I want to leave. I want a lawyer. There are ways to stop this. Like, they're just going to be like, oh, Sarah, you've been through a lot.
I know.
We're not going to make you watch this.
Is it going to make you sick? What's that thing that you say?
You don't want to get a pukey puke.
Exactly. Yes. That's exactly what Sarah's about to throw. Some pukey puke. Yeah.
She'll have a pukey puke. Don't make her watch it.
Don't. Especially if it's a long video. She just can't handle it.
She can't take it, and your battery's going to die anyway, so
Yeah.
let's move on.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's on your phone, and you can either explain it or we take it for what it is.
Yeah. We're just trying to give you the opportunity to tell us what's going on. That's it.
Oh, well, I don't want you to take it for what it is. Let me get a closer look at it.
Yeah, I better try to explain it.
Uh-huh.
Let's see.
It's that long?
2 minutes.
No.
For everything you've done to me. For everything you've done to me. Fuck you.
And this
Fuck
is,
you.
that's you, your voice.
Stupid. That's my name. Don't wear it on. Yeah, that's when you do it. You choke me.
I don't want to watch it, please.
Last time we talked to you, you had said that you put him in the suitcase. He had two fingers hanging out. And you
I
went to
flipped
bed.
him over. I flipped him over, and that's where it was.
I mean, there's two different videos and a still picture where, yeah, it shows you flipping him in different positions and him saying that he can't breathe and you saying fuck
So
you.
this is upside down. So in order for him to have gotten into it,
It was flipped up.
right, it was flipped up normal.
Yes.
Like as if you're packing something. So this is upside down.
Guys, this is killing me right now.
So this image, it's upside down, and then this small video that occurred 11 minutes later, it's flipped over the other way, closer to your dining room table.
Okay.
Now he's obviously still in there. So he didn't, how did it go from the back to the front?
I flipped it.
Okay.
My plan was not to go upstairs and go to sleep.
Well, that's what you did.
Yeah.
But not intentional.
No, you told me you went upstairs because you were
Stop
getting
here.
ready for bed.
Stopped here.
Okay, but
Where's here?
show me where you can see any fingers coming out, because there's the end.
And his head's right here.
Mm-hmm.
So going like this, rather than going all the way up, it's like this.
But why is he saying I can't breathe, and why is he pushing on it as if he can't get out?
And it doesn't show a hole.
There's no
gap.
hole. There's no fingers. I don't see his fingers. There's no hole.
I don't know what you want me to tell you. Like, I don't know, like, what you want me to tell you.
I'm just showing you. I'm just telling you what we see and what we've heard from the other video.
I understand.
He's begging for you to let him out. You're laughing in the beginning, and then in the end, it sounds kind of like a.
No, it's not malicious.
Well, saying fuck you,
It's not malicious.
then what is that?
What does fuck you mean to you?
Well,
Like if I were to tell my
like
partner.
he does. Like, I get called everything but a white woman, so
Okay.
my intention was not to leave him in there. Please understand that. My intention was not to leave him in there.
But you went upstairs thinking that he could get himself
Yes.
out, but the video shows
That's
at
what I
no
told
point
you.
can I see his fingers.
He'll
and
be
it
up here
looks
any
like
minute.
And then 30 minutes later, he didn't show.
And he's telling you
And I
he
didn't
can't
wake
breathe.
up.
Do you
He's
think
not
he's
able to get
joking?
out.
You told me he was laughing, and
We were
the
before.
video, there's no
When we
laughing.
first got in there, both of us were.
So how long was he in there for? Like, this video is at 11:12 when it starts, so was he in there for like a long time prior to you recording this?
No. No.
So it goes from funny to no longer funny,
But
you're the
didn't-
only one laughing.
But I didn't think that he was, like, panicky. Like,
So pushing up on a suitcase saying, Sarah, 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 I can't breathe.
George has done that in the past before, too, where it's just, like, he thinks that he's woe is me kind of thing, where it's like,
He's never been locked in a suitcase, that's
No.
where he couldn't get out, so.
It's kind of, I thought it was
And
the
you
boy
know the oxygen
crying
is
wolf,
coming.
crying wolf kind of thing.
Okay.
And again, my plan.
It's almost like she's pretending that they did not just watch what they watched.
Mm-hmm.
Like she said, I didn't think that he was panicking. They can hear him panicking and begging her to let him out and telling her he can't breathe. And she's made no effort to like try to explain away her tone or the things that she said.
No.
She's just trying to like gloss over that.
Yeah. Oh, he's just the boy who cries wolf. So I didn't really believe him when he said he couldn't breathe.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think he was panicky. She didn't explain what fuck you meant. All that she had to say was, I'm called everything but a white woman.
Yeah, she's the victim.
Yeah.
Again, even though that video just clearly showed her victimizing him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And she is called a white woman. She is called a blue-eyed white dragon devil.
Exactly.
Not a woman. A devil dragon and all
That's
kinds
true.
of things. Yeah.
That is
Nowhere
true.
in there is he laughing, is he joking. He is begging. And you're the only one laughing.
Okay.
And you're the only one saying derogatory comments. Like you're mad.
No. Please don't, I don't mean to sound negative, and I don't know if I can say this, but, like, it's like you guys are kind of trying to, like, feed me. Like,
No, I'm just trying to show you a video that you no longer want to watch because you probably don't want to know the outcome of how and what you said.
well, I know what,
You know what's on that video now?
No.
You remember making that video?
no,
Why don't you remember making the video?
probably because we had been drinking.
But you weren't drunk.
Just because I went upstairs and, Just
You
because
told
you're
us-
drunk doesn't mean that
You told us times that you were not drunk. You said that you had your wits about you. You said he had his wits about you.
Mm-hmm.
You said that you don't like not having your wits. In my experience, if somebody cannot remember doing something to the extent of making 2 videos and taking a photo, they are intoxicated.
Okay. I understand where you all are coming from.
Well,
I
we're
get
just
it.
trying to make sense of it. We're trying to
get it.
figure
Right,
out
we're
what
trying
you're
to
saying.
figure out this
You
video.
explain it to us. We're listening.
I just did. Like, we were playing, and then, like, I thought it was... My plan was not to go upstairs and go to sleep. My plan was not to... He'll be up here any minute.
But
But
you
again-
willingly went upstairs and went to sleep. No one forced you to go upstairs and get
My
ready
plan
for
wasn't
bed.
also to leave him in the suitcase,
So why didn't you take him out?
because I went upstairs, and then I fell asleep.
But why didn't you consciously think, he's asking to come out, he
I
can't
didn't do it
breathe.
intentionally.
What do you think is going to happen if you leave somebody in a confined space like that?
Well, I thought by not zipping it up all the way, it would be okay. My plan was not to leave him in the
And what was
suitcase,
your plan?
waiting for him to come upstairs.
And then when he did it?
I fell asleep.
You said you were up there 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, somebody not coming up.
Knowing that the last time you saw him was in the suitcase, 30 minutes later, you're like, maybe I should go check on him, maybe I shouldn't?
No.
That didn't cross your mind, because it didn't happen.
That's like an assumption. Like, that's what you all are thinking. Just,
We're asking.
it's the
You
whole,
tell us.
it's the drinking. That's what it is. It's the drinking. I thought it was, like, I thought he was okay. Like, I didn't,
He's telling you he's not. He's telling you, Sarah, I can't breathe. He's saying your name, and you're like, that's my name, don't wear it out.
Guys, that's how we are with each other. Like, nobody understands our relationship. The whole suitcase thing never happened before.
Would you leave someone else in a suitcase? Would you leave Lucas in a suitcase jokingly? Because it was a
No.
joking matter. You put him in there jokingly. Would you leave Lucas jokingly in there? And you love Lucas, right? And you love
I wouldn't do
George.
that to him either. I wouldn't do that to him.
So I just...
Well, it's not like, again, I don't think you all understand. Like, it's not that was not my intention.
Well,
y'all don't have any idea what
by
I've
your
done
acts,
for
though.
him.
But by your acts, and that's exactly right. You get to the point where you've done so much for somebody and they don't show
No.
you any appreciation.
He did.
Not by your words in the video. I don't get that.
He did.
Because you bring up the fact that when he's choking you, you can't breathe. That's how you felt when he cheated on you. You couldn't breathe. And you verbally several times told him
cheated on
just
me.
fuck you.
Well, you said it in the
said
video,
it in the
but you
video.
won't let us play the rest of it because you don't
And
want
you-
to...
When I
told
say
him.
cheating, it's on his phone.
Okay. Cheating is cheating.
I
And if
think
you
so
did-
too.
On what phone?
Yeah, good question. On your phone?
Yeah.
But an answer to a question that nobody asked. Nobody asked, what do you mean by cheating?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody asked that question. She just skirts around the point.
Yeah.
They're saying you were clearly angry at him and punishing him for what he's done to you.
And her response to that is, you guys don't understand.
Yeah, that's how we were with each other.
I think everybody understands. I think
Yeah.
all of the officers that have had to deal with you understand. I think the probation officer understands. I think the counselor in the batterers program understands. I think everybody understands that you guys are so toxic and angry with each other. I mean, what else is there? You know,
Even by her own explanation, that's just how we are with each other. He calls me names. He says mean things to me.
Yeah.
That's her
know.
response after listening to herself tell him to shut the fuck up. Fuck you. This is for everything you've done to me.
Right.
Where he says mean stuff.
Almost as if that's kind of like a bantery way that they are with each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know. But that's not it. Clearly.
Yeah. Well, then she says, oh, it's like the boy who cried wolf. Because he's done those things before.
Like what? Exactly. Good question. What has he done before where he was crying wolf?
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to know.
Exactly.
It's your definition of cheating, though. So, I mean, that's what the word cheat means.
And that's what you told him in the video. That I couldn't breathe when you cheated on me.
No.
That's how I felt when he said, Sarah, I can't breathe. And you told him,
I don't
fuck
know what
you.
you... This is...
What would you say if somebody told you that they had done this?
Done what?
Zip somebody in a suitcase and went up and went to bed.
Do you all not think... So you all think that it's like, oh, good, I got him in there, now I'm going to go to sleep? Is that what you guys are trying to assume? Or trying to, like...
The video is very portraying of the opposite of what you told us.
No.
It is not leading up, it is not matching what statement you gave us in the car.
So,
and that's why we want to know.
And I don't remember doing those.
The injuries are not consistent with what you told us. So we have a lot of inconsistencies, and this video explains itself. It really, truly does.
You don't think that I have thought about that?
Thought about the video, or thought about...
But no, again, if you don't mind, please. So you all...
Excuse me, if you don't mind.
Yeah, you need to shut the fuck up.
I'm saying something really important here.
Yeah, excuse me.
Okay.
The two of you sitting here who don't understand, I'm going to tell you something.
You're trying to, like, trick me. You're trying to get me. You're trying to blame me right now. And I think that's really unfair. Just because the video shows that he's fully zipped up in the suitcase and he's telling me he can't breathe, and I'm saying, fuck you, this is for everything you've done to me, shut the fuck up. You're trying to assume that I did that on purpose.
Right.
And that's not nice.
Yeah. That's not nice. That is absolutely something she would say. That's not nice. Yeah. You're trying to tell me that I went upstairs on purpose and that I left him there.
It was not intentional.
No.
I blamed the drinking. I was not drunk. I can't get drunk because I have too much responsibility and I take my responsibility seriously.
Yeah.
But it's I will never drink alcohol again. I'll tell you that right now.
That is a classic, isn't it?
It's one of my favorites.
But yeah, you're blaming the drinking. You weren't drunk. See, this is where she screws herself.
I know. I agree.
This is exactly where she screws herself because her ego will not allow her to say that she was drunk and she was out of control.
100%.
Yeah.
It would have looked so much better for her if she just admitted, I blacked out, guys. I don't know. Last thing I remember, we were joking around with the suitcase. I don't know what the hell happened. I passed out. I would never leave him there intentionally or just go fall asleep. I passed out because I was drunk.
Right.
But no, she can't do that. She's got to, just appear to be in perfect control at all times.
Yeah. And if she loved him as much as she says that she did, she's not having any type of a grieving. She's not mourning. She's not sad. She tries to say that sometimes. I think when she talks about certain things, like how she helps him so much, that's when she starts to get emotional. But she's saying, behind the scenes when she's alone, she's just vomiting continuously.
Yeah.
And she can't sleep. She's just vomiting. This has upset her so much. But so if you were in her shoes, right, and you don't recall what happened, just like you said, they were laughing at the beginning, got into the suitcase, haha, you don't remember because you kept drinking and, you kept getting more drunk. And then the police start to show you these videos of you being a monster, basically, and torturing this person that you love.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't you be horrified?
Yeah, I've seen videos of people who have been involved in drunk driving accident, like drunk drivers, and then them being told you killed somebody, and you were drunk and you drove and you killed somebody last night, and they're sobered up at that point, of course, and they are just horrified and so remorseful and so emotional about it, and those are strangers.
Yeah.
Imagine this is somebody that you love. And I totally agree. The only time she shows any emotion is when she's feeling bad for herself. I've done so much for him.
Yeah.
I was helping him because I'm such a good person.
Yeah.
Even when she called 911, she's like, my boyfriend is dead. I don't know what happened.
I know. Yes, and she wasn't doing CPR, obviously, because she couldn't. There was no point, right? But at the same time, yeah, there was no panic. There was no hyperventilating. Even when she's talking to the police, there's really nothing. She would get excited, a couple of times, but it was only when she was being questioned about things. I think when she was feeling like, okay, they're trying to maybe insinuate something that happened. Maybe something was malicious, or she was not compos mentis, which is very offensive. So yeah, I know. Yeah, she doesn't have the reaction, and especially this is brand new. This all happened yesterday. And she's just sitting there like, excuse me, no. You don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, excuse me, thank you. Exactly.
I'm speaking.
Oh my gosh.
You're accusing me, you're assuming, and now you're interrupting me.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to seem negative or anything, but that is unacceptable. I excel at everything I do.
I got straight A's.
What a trip. And again, she is ignoring that video that they just watched. Just imagine, well, I mean, if I were in that place, if I did what Sarah did, I would either be so remorseful and so horrified by my own actions that I would just be completely honest and say, oh my God, I don't know, I blacked out. I don't know what happened. I drank too much. I can't believe this happened. Whatever. Or I'd say, okay, this is done now. I need a lawyer. I'm done talking here.
Yes.
But her strategy is just to act like they didn't see it. She's not trying to explain her demeanor in that video. No. She doesn't even mention it. She's just like, well, you guys are being really mean for assuming.
Yeah.
You're assuming right now.
That's how we always were.
You're just assuming that I did this out of malicious. and you can't assume that. But it's like the video shows you clearly being malicious.
Yes, very much.
And the detective even says that. Fuck you isn't malicious. Shut the fuck up isn't malicious. And her response is, I don't know what you want me to tell you.
Answer the question. Like, explain. Yeah. Explain something.
Right.
Yeah. But then she's going to talk about the closet, and how full it is, and they were working on a puzzle. Yeah.
Are assuming that it's like, oh, good, I got him in there, now I'm going to go to sleep? Is that what you all are assuming?
Well, it's not an assumption when that's what you told us that happened.
That's what happened.
And the video, I mean...
But I'm not going to say...
You thought he could get out on his job. but the video shows that he cannot get out on his own.
But when I unzipped it with one finger.
From the outside.
But it had the hole in it.
And you're claiming that it had a paper clip, so that's what assisted you in doing it.
No.
Is what you told us.
When I had my sweatshirt, I said I thought it had a paper clip on it. It's got...
But the zipper part is broken.
Yes, which is why we were going to zip it.
Yeah.
I just...
You were able to unzip it from the outside very easily, because that's the way they're designed.
But you could on the inside, too. I don't know how...
Well, why wouldn't he have gotten himself out if he could?
I don't know. Like, I don't know if he saw, like, where the hole was. I don't know.
I didn't see a hole.
No
I
one
didn't
sees
see
the
no
hole.
fingers
You're the
sticking
only
out.
one that's what I'm saying. Like, he's in one position, and where his head would be, we should be able to see fingers. And then when it's flipped over onto this right side, again, his head is closer to us facing the video, so we should be able to see fingers, and we don't see anything. We see no movement of him trying to unzip it or physically unzipping it. All we see is pushing up, trying to push out of it.
Please do not assume.
I'm not assuming. I haven't assumed anything. I follow evidence.
But my intention was not, again, oh good, I got him in there, now I'm just going to go to sleep.
What do you think someone that knows nothing about this or hears just a little bit like, oh, they were playing around in a suitcase
She's been drinking
and then watches
probably
that video.
would sleep. That's what happened.
But you let him out before. I mean, you put him in, so why didn't you take him out?
Because I was upstairs and I fell asleep.
No, before you went upstairs. You, like, consciously had to walk upstairs. I mean, you obviously remember going to bed because you were able to give me a time frame on that. And you specifically told me that you went upstairs.
My intention is not for this to happen. I am sick about it. I've never done anything like this before in the past. I am sick. Especially with that. I thought I couldn't sleep last night. I don't know.
Well, here's the thing. You tell us last night, you vividly remember this when you told us last night, that he was laughing, you were laughing, you put him in the suitcase, he has two fingers sticking out, and you go to bed. Now we see something totally different, and it actually shows you upset and, again, using derogatory terms to him when he's begging for his life to get out of that suitcase.
So
what
but my thing
you
is
say
that
we're assuming, we're not assuming,
but
we're telling you what's on there.
So it just happened to be that whenever I was videotaping or doing whatever else it was, just happened to not have that in it.
Okay. And you also, in the video, you can't see any holes. There's nowhere in that where the zipper separates and you can see a hole. If there's a hole, he's pushing on it, begging you to get out. We should probably see that hole that
He
you're
essentially
talking
would have
about.
been able to get out.
Yeah.
Alcohol.
Based off what you're telling us, he should have been able to get out.
Okay.
But the video shows him attempting to get out, begging to get out, and he can't. So that's just what we're trying to figure out. I don't know if maybe you had too much to drink, you zipped it up all the way, and then,
I did not zip it up all the way.
Okay, well.
I did not zip it up all the way.
How does she remember that, but she can't remember taking the video?
I don't know.
You know,
She
keeps saying like, well, it's because I was drinking. It's the drinking. Alcohol is a really bad thing. Okay. And but she insisted that she wasn't drunk.
Right.
There's so much contradictory stuff going on here. And you know what I think? I'm not trying to like criticize the detectives. They know what they're doing. I don't know what the hell. But I've watched enough interrogations to know that one of the very effective things they can do during interrogation is to just be completely silent, because people are uncomfortable when you're just sitting there in silence in a room with people. So you just talk and they'll just keep talking to try to fill the silence. Well, I was going to say, I wish the detectives had done that more, but then she would just ramble on and on.
She would just ramble. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. As you were saying that, I was thinking about Jody.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you know what? She sat there in silence. She wasn't really one to just... I know she rambled a lot. and she would go off on tangents, but she would also just sit there in silence, like picking her hair and looking at things around the room, you know?
Yeah, like a weirdo.
Yeah, like a weirdo. They would want her to talk, and she wouldn't, because obviously she doesn't want to answer what's being told. But Sarah definitely would keep talking because she was so nervous. She keeps looking between like the both of them, you know, and is trying to, especially now at this point, trying to understand what's happening. Because, of course, she was right when she said, you guys are scaring me. Yeah. She's really scared because she feels out of control in this situation. They're clearly not believing anything that she's saying. She's not excelling at that. So what's going to happen now?
You know what? You're totally right. I think, actually, if she was left in silence, she would start asking questions, which does happen later in the interrogation, now that I think of it.
Yeah.
This is horrific, okay? Horrific.
It is terrible.
Yeah, so
Horrific.
Say it again.
Horrific.
Get louder, too. Yeah, exactly.
I don't think I'll ever be right because of this. Ever be right.
Oh.
Dealing with.
So, right. Talking about the effect on her. I'm not going to be right ever again.
That reminds me of Jody, too. Jody said she had or her defense said that she had PTSD from killing Travis.
I don't remember that part, but yeah, totally believable. Yeah.
She was it might have been, well, somebody said it during the trial. Yeah, she was diagnosed with PTSD. I think the defense tried to say the PTSD was from Travis's abuse, and it might have been the prosecution, actually, who said she has PTSD from murdering somebody in cold blood and like slitting his throat and doing all these horrific things.
I mean, that definitely sounds like Mr. Martinez, doesn't it? Yeah.
So that's what Sarah's trying to say. Like, this is horrible for me. Do you know what I've been through?
I know. Or what I'm going to continue to go through every single day as a woman out in society, definitely not in prison. It's going to be awful.
I won't even be able to sleep tonight in my own bed at home.
Right.
Definitely in my bed. I'm going to be vomiting.
Yeah.
I think she even says finding him in that suitcase was punishment enough.
God, of course.
I have in my life, personally, and then this, whom I loved, it was not intentional. I will put my hand on the Bible. It was not intentional.
That means absolutely nothing.
No, she promises it wasn't intentional. She'll pinky promise.
Yeah, it's kind of like when somebody swears on the life of their kids or something. That doesn't mean anything because the life of your kids is not on the line.
Right.
You know, I swear to God, I would never swear to God unless I was telling the truth. That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
I would not do that to him nor anyone else.
But you did.
Not intentional.
You intentionally went up to bed.
I didn't intentionally go to bed because I'm thinking, okay, good, he can get out.
How did you not intentionally go to bed? You said you went upstairs and got into bed. That's intentionally going to bed.
Waiting for him.
And he doesn't come, but you don't go down to check on him.
So I happen to go to sleep. When I say go to sleep,
and what do you normally do when you go to bed?
Do.
What do you normally do when you go to bed?
What do you mean?
What is a bed for? Going to sleep.
Right.
So you go to
bed to do what? But obviously you can tell too that, like, I've been drinking also.
You go to bed to do what? Okay. You kept telling us, hey, I wasn't intoxicated. I wasn't this. I wasn't that.
Being drunk and intoxicated, which, yes, you can tell that I had been drinking, but...
Okay. So if you weren't intoxicated, then why would you ever leave somebody in a suitcase that's begging to get out, that's telling you they can't breathe?
If I hadn't been drinking, you you still think it would be the same thing? Where it's like, hop in, I'm going to go to sleep. Is that what you all are trying to do? To portray me
We're
as?
not trying to do anything.
So what you're trying to do?
No.
If I hadn't been drinking, not drunk, do you think this would have happened? Drunk and intoxicated are different.
They're different.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. So which one were you then?
Well, I had been drinking, but I wasn't drunk. But if I had not been drinking, then it wouldn't have happened. It's horrific.
Yes.
I'm simply asking you to explain to me what happened.
Everything was fine and dandy.
I wouldn't call
Everything
it fine and dandy.
was fine and dandy.
Explain
You
to
all
me how.
don't, okay, for me to tell you this, again, mind you, I've been without him for a day now.
Mhm.
I don't know.
That is amazing what she just did.
No, it's so good. And she just tries to keep going. I don't know. Like she gets so a little bit distracted there.
I know. I remember the first time that I had heard this, and I wasn't watching it. I just had my AirPods in and was walking around and stuff. And when that happened, and so obviously you don't know that she's going to do that, right? Start playing the video. I just heard it running. I was like, my mouth dropped open, and I was like, what? Oh my God.
Yeah, she just had it with Sarah's shit.
Yes.
Like, let's listen again.
Yes, definitely. It's kind of like those moments that they have with someone who murdered someone. They slam down the picture of them in front of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This was that moment for Sarah.
I mean, I don't know what you all want me to tell you, because this was not in any way, shape, or form, hand on the Bible, intentional.
Okay. So you just left
I
him there to
didn't
teach
kill
him.
him.
You left him there to teach him a
That's on
lesson?
you.
I didn't mean to leave him there. That's what
She's trying to talk louder so that she doesn't have to hear that.
I'm trying to tell
I know. When I tell them to turn it up, she's trying to like pretend it's not there.
She is. Yeah, she definitely is.
you.
Weird.
You got up and walked away. How is that not intentionally leaving him there?
Because I'm looking at the hole, knowing that it's there. He'll get out no problem. Because you
And
don't.
then he doesn't,
but
but
the-
you don't go check on him. You say you're up for 30 minutes, and he doesn't come up. You don't go down and check on him?
I'm in the bed.
You even move.
And so
I
it's
mean,
off.
You admit to moving the suitcase like over. So
You roll it.
You roll it over. Like it's not like
I didn't want it to be like that. Don't.
you didn't want him to be upside down. How do you even get upside down?
Right. You guys are killing me right now.
I just want you to hear.
Probably shut the fuck up.
That's how he talks to me most of the time.
What does that matter? They're not asking if that's how he talks to you most of the time. They're wanting you to hear the video.
Yeah, but he did it too.
Yeah.
He does it too. He calls me everything but a white woman, so. But it's like, Sarah, they don't have him on video talking to you like that.
True.
They have you talking to him. And even if they did, he didn't put you in a suitcase and let you suffocate to death.
No.
Like, it doesn't matter how George talked to you.
No, it
unless
doesn't.
Unless her defense was, he abused me so much I just couldn't take it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I left him in that damn suitcase because I was sick of him hurting me.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not what she said. She said they were having a great time. He was doing so well in his class, and he'd come so far. They had such a great night.
Yeah.
I don't know how you want me to say it.
I'm just trying to figure out what you would expect to happen to somebody when you leave them in a suitcase.
I didn't mean to leave him in there.
Okay.
What's your reasoning for not calling 911 sooner?
Because I didn't know what to do and how horrific it was. I called Ryan, and like, what, 5 minutes later I called you guys? Not even 5 minutes. Nonetheless, that I had to, like, I was trying to do CPR. I had to get him out and try to do CPR. And
You
then
could call
called you guys.
Brian, though.
Yeah, and I'm sure Brian would be able to say if you were doing CPR. I mean, I know he didn't hang out in there or anything. He said that he saw legs and then he just kind of bailed. But I mean, if she was doing CPR, I think that she probably would have told him that too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm doing CPR. Like, you know, he's not breathing or whatever.
Well, she called Brian and then waited for him to come over. And then
Yes.
he told her, call 911, stupid.
Yes.
And that's when she finally called 911.
Well, she also called Brian back to make sure that he was coming over.
Mm-hmm.
So she was blowing
Right, she
up
could have
his
called
phone.
911 then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Or call 911 and then have Brian come over.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And it was continually doing CPR with the dispatch on the phone, where he had me count out loud to help me focus on what I was doing.
It just, I don't know how, I mean, you can sit here all day long and say, I thought he was going to get himself out, but that's, he didn't, and you went upstairs, and you stayed there for 30 minutes before you fell asleep.
But can I say, too, like...
You chose not to ever at any point during that 30 minutes walk back down and check on him.
No, wait 1 second. Because I know, like, with you all, and then, like, because you continually ask me, like, time frames, where I told you, like, I don't bother even looking at the clock most of the time. So it's, like, a guesstimate. So for all I know, maybe it was 10 minutes.
Okay. But the point is, you left the living room where he was begging for help and went upstairs. Regardless of how long you were there, you left. You say,
I thought he was the boy calling wolf. Again.
Okay.
So when he asked to be let out, like, what's your reasoning for not letting him out?
When I was upstairs?
No, when he's asking on the video, he asked multiple times. He asked to be let out. I can't breathe. Why didn't you let him out?
Well, number one, I had no idea it was going to end like that.
Okay.
Number one.
Okay.
Number two, just, you know what? I'll give you 5 minutes or so in there. They'll give you 5 minutes or so.
5 minutes.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have said that.
I know. 5 minutes for what? That's an excellent question.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think she's going to say?
I don't think she's going to answer it.
I think you're probably right.
Well, based off the video, one video is at 11:12 and the next one's at 11:23, so you actually gave him at least 11 minutes per video recording. So my thing is, when it stopped, he asked multiple times, I mean, why? Why did you not let him out? It's just a simple question.
To be honest with you, I mean...
Don't
Were
know.
you punishing him?
No. Just...
Well, that's what you're saying in the video.
This is what you get. This is
Yep.
what you make me feel like.
See, and then it's all backfired on me. Like, it's all backfired on me. And I understand the severity of this.
Poor Sarah.
You did.
It's awful, I know.
Okay.
It's awful.
She knows. It's awful.
See, I think she does that a lot in her life. When she's confronted with something, she has a question she doesn't want to answer.
Mm-hmm.
She'll just shout like that and get really aggressive.
Yeah.
Because that's going to cause most people to say, oh, okay,
Right.
calm down, enough, and not pursue it, because she's obviously a psychopath.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to work with the detective, of course.
No.
I wish they had really pressed her on that. 5 minutes for what? I wish they had, like, insisted on an answer.
Well, maybe they will in the second half.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, we'll have to find out. Mm-hmm. Now, they played the suitcase video a couple of times for Sarah. And we watched it last week. And it's really uncomfortable, right? And clearly Sarah is completely inebriated. I mean, I've had a few drinks in my day. I've had a couple of evenings when perhaps I had more than a few drinks. But I don't think that I've ever sounded like that.
Oh, I probably have.
Yeah, I mean, it's really difficult to understand one particular part of what she said.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was thinking that she said real ransom.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to make a video of it extra. That's what it sounded like to me, because of course she's mumbling her words. She sounds incoherent. Like, it's really difficult to understand exactly what she said.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously with her being as drunk, it's not going to make a lot of sense, So
Right.
Is ransom something that you would say? No, probably not. But she's so drunk, and that's what it sounded like to me.
Yeah, I thought I heard her say ransom too.
Yeah. So there was a comment by Honest in our last video that clarified it for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to say that when I read what she said and then went back and listened to it, my world exploded.
Yeah, spot on. Yeah.
Completely spot on. So what Honest said was, I think she said, wriggle around some. I want to get it on video, extra.
Mm-hmm.
So I have it queued up to that part, and I think that we should take a listen so that everyone can hear that, and see if you can hear what we hear as well.
Real ransom. Might want to get video for it extra.
What do you think?
Yeah, wriggle around some.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna make a video for it extra.
Yeah.
Exactly. Very good.
Yes. Thank you so much for clarifying that, because
For translating. Mm-hmm.
yes, you can be the Sarah Boone translator. I completely changed my mind on how I think things played out. I have a totally different impression of what happened.
Okay, what do you think happened?
Well, so I didn't think that what happened was necessarily innocent before. I knew, just based on hearing that, of course, that it wasn't something that, well, I should say, I didn't think that she intended for him to die. I thought that she was really drunk. It made sense to me. She put him in there. She's messing with him. She's obviously angry. She went upstairs and she was going to go get him, but then forgot. Now I have a completely different impression. And part of that is a little bit of a spoiler for what we're going to hear, not the next video, but the one after that, when we listen to some of the interviews, as to why he received the injuries that he did. So here's what I think happened. I think that the suitcase was upstairs. I think that they were probably playing around. They probably did that hide and seek thing, because he would have had to get into that suitcase on his own. Yeah. So I think he did get in, and she zipped it up. That's when she did that. She pushed the suitcase down the stairs so that he went banging down the stairs. And that's corroborated by a couple of interviews with the neighbors that share the wall with them. So I think that she did that. I think that the video that we just saw and the one that they played for her was the one that was taken after he was pushed down the stairs. That I think that the suitcase may have landed that way. And then after, because there was some time between the two videos, she was moving him around, just kind of messing with him. I don't think that she had any intention of taking him out of there.
Do you think she intended for him to die?
I think that in that moment, yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, because number one, if you have somebody in there who has been violent with you in the past, what do you think's going to happen?
Yeah, he's gonna beat the shit out of her.
He's gonna beat the
once
shit
she
out of
lets
her.
him out.
Yeah, exactly. So, and especially what had already happened with her pushing him down the stairs so that he tumbles down the stairs. I mean, so for him to be saying, "I can't breathe, babe, I can't breathe," he's in survival mode at that point. Because he's not going to be like, "You fucking bitch, you better fucking let me out here," you know. He's just trying to get out, and that's the only way. He is begging her because she is his only hope. You know, not because he thinks that she's messing around. You can hear that she is not messing around. She hates him. She absolutely hates him. She's so angry, and I understand why. I understand why she's angry, because he was not a good boyfriend to her. He hurt her a lot. You know, so I think that in that moment, because you know how it's said that when somebody's drunk, they'll tell you the truth?
Yes.
I think that this was one of those moments. I think that she was so angry with him for a lot of the things that have happened. I think they had a terrible relationship. And I don't think that it was planned necessarily for it to go down like that. I don't think she said, "Okay, tonight's the night. I'm going to have him go in the suitcase." And that he could have gotten into the suitcase himself. I don't know.
Yeah. Just the opportunity presented itself.
The opportunity presented itself, yeah. And now she's in a position of total control and power. He can't get out. She knew that he couldn't. And so she's like, "Fuck you," pushes him down the stairs. That's how he ended up with all of the injuries that he had.
Definitely. When the detective was especially talking about the injury to like the left side of his head, I think she said, the contusion and like damage to his skull.
Yeah.
That sounds like something that could be inflicted by him being pushed down the stairs.
Definitely. Yeah.
Sure.
The blunt force trauma. You know, I was thinking originally, I was like, maybe he's in the suitcase and she like kicked him. You know,
while he's in there, right?
While he's
or hit
in
him
there.
with something, yeah.
Yes, exactly. But because of what the neighbors said about the noise that they heard, that was so loud, it was louder than anything they've ever heard over there. And that it goes along with the timeline as well, because they heard the really loud banging at around 11 o'clock. And one of those videos was timed 11:11 or 11:12, something like that.
Yeah, and he must have gotten the injuries while he was in the suitcase too, because it's not like they could have just been like fist fighting and brawling, because she didn't have any marks on her.
Correct. Yeah.
And if she's wailing on him, he's going to hit her back.
He's going to hit her back. Exactly. They're going to have a fight.
Yeah. Right.
Yes, definitely. And what I was also thinking is that I don't know that she went upstairs and went to sleep.
Really? You think, well, what do you think? You think she just sat there on the couch and like laughed at him?
She could have done that. And when when they're talking about 30 minutes, I think it's possible that she waited until he was quiet and stopped moving.
Wow. And then just passed out, or?
Yeah.
Okay. And just figured she could just make the whole thing look like an accident. Because she's drunk, right? So she's not good at planning. And it's not like she had planned it. Like you said,
I think it just happened, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The opportunity was there, and she took it. And she, and, you know, obviously she ended up killing him, but that was her way of like beating the shit out of him. That was the opportunity that she had because she didn't have it before.
I did wonder if he's so abusive and he had been to jail so many times for beating her up and she had all these documented injuries. What did she think was going to happen when she let him out, be it that night or the next morning?
Right. Exactly.
Like, of course he would beat the shit out of her.
Yeah, I remember us talking about this too last time, and you know, we were kind of thinking, or I was at least, because she's talking about these lessons that he's learning in his batterers program, about, you know, now you know how it feels like, you know, now you know how it feels, so therefore, you know, I'm teaching you a lesson. I'm such a good girlfriend. I'm helping you. That was me helping you. I didn't want to hurt you at all. Just wanted to help you.
Mm-hmm.
But now that I understand that he was thrown down the stairs and that, it just took such a turn. And for her to say, wriggle around some, that is so incredibly evil.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want to watch you. You know, show me how you can't get out.
Yeah. Jesus.
Yeah. So I have a question for you.
Yes.
I'm curious what you think was holding them together as a couple.
Well, for him, the fact that he would have to go live with his parents otherwise, and he probably couldn't get piss drunk at his parents' house.
True. I
Like he
hadn't thought
could
of
with
that.
her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just kind of like, not partners in crime because they were at each other's throats all the time, but just that cycle of fighting and making up. I think a lot of people are addicted to those kinds of relationships, and maybe just the familiarity of it. Just they'd been through it all before.
Right.
They knew it's easier to stay with someone you're miserable with than to try to, either be alone, which I don't think Sarah was very good at. She talked about how her and George were together all the time. And how is she going to go find someone new? She's a piece of shit. She's unemployed. She's an alcoholic. She's not like a catch. It's not like she's going to go on dating apps and find. She met George in a bar.
Right. Yeah. I mean, so she could do that again.
She could, but like I said, there's comfort with familiarity, even if it's horrible. I think it was just destined to end like this one way or another.
Oh, yes. Yeah, a lot of situations end like this. Definitely.
Yeah, a lot of people stay in relationships like that. And yeah, I don't really know why. Maybe the fear of him being with somebody else. She said that he was very jealous. And maybe he was, but maybe she was too. She talked about him cheating on her and how that made her feel.
Yeah, on his phone though. He doesn't have one. So what was he doing?
Maybe he did have a phone at one point.
Oh. Okay.
And it happened then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe he was using her phone to cheat on her. Who knows?
Well, he was working before. When they were together. So yeah, it would make sense that he had a phone before. Yeah, maybe that's why he wasn't allowed to have it again.
Yeah, and she held on to that resentment. And I know there are plenty of people who stay together just for that very reason. Like, no, you're not going to go be with someone else. You're not going to go move on and be happy after the damage you've done to me.
And that's deadly too. Yeah. So I think with abusive relationships, you know, as to why they will continue and people will go back together, I think sometimes, like you said, it's fear. It could be fear of, the person being with somebody else and you can't stand it. And it can also be physical fear too. that the person can be, would be following through on a threat that they made if you leave, because there are people like that. So that could be the case as well. And then there could also be the case of where somebody is dependent on the other person for everything, or or a substantial part of their life, whether that's financial, maybe they've never worked, or they don't have a good work history, or maybe they have a criminal past. That makes things more difficult. They can't just go out on their own. I mean, there's a lot of situations like that where, those types of things can come into play. And I think too that it's very clear that there are toxic people that come together. So from the abuser to the victim, there's toxic things between them, that could be keeping the person there, and also obviously on the abuser side, having them do the abuse that they're doing. So yeah, I mean, I was thinking about this too. I'm thinking, why are they together? Because, going through that little list, like, oh, if somebody's dependent on somebody, then, it would be difficult for them to leave and all that kind of stuff. And I'm thinking, what did George provide to her?
I think she was just as dependent on him as he was on her.
Like, as far as her being in control?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. That's what I was just thinking. He made her feel superior.
True.
He's the one who would keep getting arrested. She got to feel like a victim, which I think she quite liked every time he would get arrested. And not to say she wasn't a victim of his abuse. I'm sure she was.
Yeah.
But I'm sure she dished it out too. They were mutually abusive, but it seems like he's the one who got arrested for it regularly.
Right. And then she would bail him out. So she's also rescuing him.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm trying to help him. How many times did she say that just during this first hour? So many times. I'm here because I'm trying to help him, even though he's dead.
Right. You can't.
Right.
He's the one who had to go to the domestic violence classes. He's the one who was on parole or probation. And she got to be bossy, to put it simply.
Yeah.
She got to be bossy and say, you need to do this. You need to pay attention in your class. Look what you've done to me. Because he had all these rules he had to follow.
Yeah.
And I think he was her scapegoat. He was her excuse. I don't want to drink. But George drinks. And then things just get out of control. But it's not me. It's because of him.
Yeah, look at all the videos of him smashing my TV and doing all of these things, which, again, he obviously did. And that is, clearly not to say that he was a good guy, because I don't think he was.
I agree. Yeah.
But yeah. Very interesting. Very interesting, these people.
It does really change the way you look at it, because just like you, I thought she was clearly being cruel.
Yes.
She was clearly taunting him and mocking him. She was clearly being malicious. But I thought she just went upstairs and I really thought she just went upstairs and passed out.
Yeah.
I thought she didn't care if she let him out. Maybe I don't know if she intended to leave him there overnight, but she didn't care either way. It didn't bother her, but I didn't think that she thought that he would die in there. But if you push somebody down the stairs in a suitcase, what do you expect to happen?
Yeah.
And like I said, somebody who is physically violent towards you, what's going to happen when you let them out?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think it's definitely a lot more sinister than what it seemed. Like from my very first impression. I mean, the fact that she pushed him down the stairs. It's almost like those situations where if somebody is so upset, and you can kind of see it with kids, like if they're being picked on, right? And they're being picked on and picked on. And then one day they turn around and they start throwing hands. They don't see anything. They can't stop. They just keep hitting until somebody, pulls them off or something like that. I'm thinking of A Christmas Story.
Yeah.
For that. But I mean, that's kind of that type of a situation where I think that's what happened. I think that she just wasn't going to stop. It was, and there was nobody there to stop it either. And she was so angry, and she hates him in those moments. And I think that's true. What she was saying.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she did hate him.
Yeah.
And that would explain her lack of emotion in the following days. Because she's not sad he's dead.
Right.
She doesn't miss him. She holds so much resentment and hate and hatred towards him.
Yeah.
I mean, because what's there, even in the idealized version of their relationship that she tried to portray, what's there to love even in that? Oh, we were enjoying each other's company. We were dancing with the dogs. So you just get drunk and act stupid. Like there was no, or act like children, play hide and seek.
Right.
Do a puzzle.
Right.
She didn't say anything about George as a person, anything that she loved about him.
Nothing.
As a human being.
Yeah. That's why I was curious what holds them together. Like what is it? What do you like about him? He doesn't provide anything except for obviously the aspect of he's very childlike in the sense that he has to be taken care of. Okay, honey, you got back from your batterers program. Let's look at your homework. Let's look at your papers. What did you talk about today at class? It seems very much like that.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I think that made her feel important and good about herself. I think she's a bossy bitch. And she enjoyed that sort of I'm the adult, you're a child. Because she can't act that way with her own child because she doesn't have him.
No, and she can't act like that with Brian. He does everything.
He's the adult. Right.
Right. Yeah. And she doesn't have anybody else to control. So certainly she had to pick someone who has even less than she does.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It'll be really interesting at trial to see that.
Oh, yes.
Come into the equation.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was thinking about as well is the trial, because you're going to have the medical examiner who's going to explain in, I'm sure, great detail the extent of the injuries that he had and what could have caused them. So obviously, they're going to be describing them as blunt force trauma or something because they can't say what hit them, because they don't know. But there's probably a lot that's there. Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to hear the testimony from that because, we've only heard a little bit of this is the very beginning of the investigation, and look how quickly it's gone. And we can see on our screen right here, this is how it ends. She walks away in handcuffs. She's going to be taken away and she's going to be staying in jail until, this year she's still there.
Yeah.
Still there going through it. So yeah, it's crazy.
Well, and of course it's going to be even more interesting because now she has to defend herself.
Yes.
She gave up the opportunity to have a professional attorney try to sort out this mess and find a way to present it in the way that would make her look the least evil. But she is such a psycho that she destroyed that, and now she's in charge. Oh my God. Can you imagine? I can't wait. I can't wait to see how
It's
she
going to
handles
be
it.
really interesting, yeah, to see how she handles it, because she still has to follow the rules of the court,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So how is she going to organize it? How is she going to argue? Is she going to do a however many hours of a closing statement like Daryl Brooks did? What
Oh,
was his
God.
closing statement? How long was it?
I can't remember. I
I
didn't
know.
watch the whole thing.
Yeah, it was.
I couldn't do it.
No, I remember flipping back and being like, okay, because I was working, you know, so I'd be like, I'll work for a while and go back and be like, he's still talking? He's still talking. Oh my gosh.
Just nonsense, too.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's what is probably going to end up happening here. It'll be interesting to see the organization of her case, because I think she's so disorganized in her thinking. It jumps all over the place. She's not direct.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to hear her questions as well.
Mm-hmm.
And who is she going to call as a witness? Brian.
Yeah, I'm sure. Who else, though? I mean...
I don't know. I mean, she doesn't have family. I don't think that she has friends.
No, I don't think so either.
You know? The neighbors will definitely be witnesses.
Yeah, but not in her favor.
No, not in her
That's
favor.
very damning.
Right. Yeah. But it'll be interesting to hear her cross-examine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yeah, it'll be really interesting to hear that. So we'll see. We're a couple of months away.
Yeah, what was it, October?
October, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll be on the lookout for that. And so the next time we're going to do the second half of the interrogation, because believe it or not, she has more to say, more explaining to them, because they don't understand.
Nope, they don't understand their relationship.
No, not at all. So we're going to end it there then. And we'll see you next time. Thank you so much for joining us, and take care.